What is up, you no life having ass motherfuckers? It is XTR, and we are here once again with a VOD review. I know it's been a minute, but I'm planning on doing a little bit more of these to come in the future. I am actually on leave right now, so these are all kind of pre-recorded, and they will be for the next couple weeks to the next month. So it's been kind of a bitch and a half getting all these recorded, but without further ado, let's fucking start this video. So I'm going to read off basically what this is, but before that I just want to say, if you want a VOD review done, you have to join the Discord. The link will be in the description. Go into the welcome mat, click the fucking emote, and then put your VOD review in the VOD review chat for a chance to get randomly selected for a VOD review. By putting a VOD in that chat, you kind of give me consent to use your video in these videos, just as a heads up. So anyways, let's read this off. Not my best game, I'd say it's somewhat okay. Aim is very shaky and inconsistent in this VOD. I am new to Phoenix and have played a couple games on him. Diamond 3, Phoenix on split. Can you recommend some spots to defend B Heaven and mid as Phoenix? I sure can. I really want to get pointed out in situations where my positioning and crosshair placement is off. I also want to get better at using every charge of my utility every round so I can be the most impactful I can. I also feel like my decision making is complete garbage and I need help pointing out what I tend to do a lot. There's a lot of moments in the game where I die and cause the team to lose due to poor decision making on my part. Playing with the team and trading is also something I want to improve on. Main focus currently is to improve positioning, crosshair placement, and decision making. So he's playing at the Diamond and Immortal rank right now. And just as a heads up, when I send these videos in, these players are definitely not playing at their best. So don't go out into the comments and start insulting them saying, wow, if this is Immortal, then I should be Radiant, shit like that. Because that's just really unfair. Because they're sending these videos for constructive criticism, and they're supposed to be games where they don't play so well. So he's going with the Frenzy, 2 Flash, and the Molly, something I don't normally run, but it is fine. So right there, that was kind of a wasted utility scenario. You didn't need to do any of that, really. You want a pistol tip, so a pistol tip I'll give you. If you want to run the Frenzy and 2 Flashes, that's fine. I prefer Ghost 1 Flash, but it really is up to you. So here, you should not just run away from Heaven like that and give up control. You are playing with a Frenzy. If you're going down here, this is a one and done. So what I would recommend is playing up close to this wall and waiting for them to walk up, flash, get a kill, and then fall back to maybe this box or fall back into CT. But right now, you're kind of just running around and you're not really holding a position. You kind of just abandon your raise there too, which I think you realize. So you're going back up, you're going to flash in, and you're going to get you're not going to get the kill. So you looked really indecisive that round, and that's one of the big problems with Phoenix players. They don't really know what they're doing. So you need to make up your mind on what you want to do. Right here, I think it would have been best to just start off holding this area right here, maybe sitting right behind this wall and waiting for them to walk up, then throwing a flash and trying to get a kill, and then throwing the Molly down. Because you threw the Molly down without even knowing if they were coming up. So you wasted that Molly and you wasted the flash. There was no point to throwing that flash. There was no capitalization. So we're on the first gun round, and it looks like there's a little bit of aggression towards mid here. So you're gonna get crept up on by a Phoenix, and that's one of the biggest problems with holding that angle, especially with Phoenix, is you have to get up to this wall if you want to throw a flashbang. It's kind of pointless to play on this wall right here if you are playing Phoenix, because you have no way to actually flash the enemy team, and you have no way to actually get your utility out. So I'd recommend almost always playing on this side or on Rafters if you're playing Phoenix. Rafters is very strong for Phoenix, because he can hide behind the wall and flash once they're already in, and then he can take a peek, get a kill maybe, or miss his shots, and then fall back to a safer angle. If you want to actually watch this, you need to be closer to the left side, so if anything actually happens, you're able to fall back and have Raze support you. And it looks like your Raze isn't really up there helping you in the first place, but that's what happens when you stand on that right side. You got flashed out by utility and you got killed because of it. So it looks like you've changed your mind and you're not playing A, which is fine, because you weren't playing Heaven very well, so you changed your position. That's perfectly fine. Now this is fine. You're clearing out this area, making sure there's nobody here. That's a good flash to actually clear out screens. At this point, you need to support your team. Now right here, as opposed to walking out of the smoke, what you should do is flash out of that smoke, because you're kind of just walking out of it dry. Yes, if you flash out of it, they know you're going to be coming from there, but they're already watching that smoke because they killed a couple players on site. So you have a Molly here. So what I think you should have done here is you should have gotten to elbow right here and pulled out your Molly while kind of behind elbow and thrown that so it lands kind of in this like area right here, so he's pushed out towards the back wall, and then you could have secured the kill. Oh, and you got the molly out now, but you aren't really ready to capitalize on it. This is actually kind of a smart play, moving positions though. But now you let the Omen go towards elbow. So moving positions there wasn't bad. That was actually a pretty smart play. But what you should have done is probably just gotten the molly, thrown it when you were in a position to actually capitalize on it. Because while it was a good play, you weren't able to capitalize for one. And you also, by moving positions there was so much downtime to the point where the Omen literally just walked around to elbow and you couldn't really do anything about it, and you were in a much worse position had you have just stayed elbow. So ask your Cypher to put a fucking better wire up in heaven. I don't know what the hell that shit is. What the fuck is Cypher doing here, man? This is useless. The wire needs to go to a point where they have to destroy it so that you actually know if you lose control of this room. Because if you have to rotate out, you need control of this room. So if you got a Cypher doing dumbass wires like this, if you're a Cypher doing dumbass wires like this, don't. Just put a wire like right here. Just put it so they have to destroy it to actually get through. That way you know that you have lost control of that area. So here'd be a good time to maybe do some sort of flank play. It doesn't look like they pressure you much mid when they're on other sites, so you could always go through other areas and try and get a flank play off there. You kind of flashed your teammate there, that's okay though. Can't actually secure that kill. It's important that when you're ulting as Phoenix, you take your time. That's a great flash, but you just got a little bit unlucky there with the timing. So it was good to go and retrieve control there. So you did fine in this round, really. All I have to say about that is take your time when you're using your Phoenix ult, because yeah, it's going to run out and you got to be like worried about that constantly, but don't like rush down opponents like that. You know, try not to make yourself super predictable, otherwise you're easy to kill in that form. So it looks like you're going to be taking a position in ropes instead of heaven. That means that you were basically solo holding mid because heaven was still wired off improperly. So you're going to get smoked off here, and your only real play here is to flash through that smoke or rotate out. But your Raze definitely has to be watching heaven for you here. And your Raze went down. This would be a good time to push through. You get 1, 2, and that's beautiful. Really well played. It was smart to not use the flash there. Usually when I'm pushing out of that smoke, I won't flash out of it, just solely for the fact that they won't expect it nearly as much. You're not choreographing yourself. So that was really well played by you. Sexy fucking rap. So I'm going to quickly run through what exactly I noticed that you were kind of doing poorly and what you could do much better. When you were playing this position in heaven, you kind of just ran away when they started coming and threw this molly down, right? Don't do that. If you were going to play in this position, either you need to commit or you need to wait and hear, like, listen for footsteps and then fall back and hold an angle like this. And if they peek you, you can take a shot, you can fall, you can wait a little bit, throw a flash, swing, and then fall back to a better angle, whether it be this one, then you can flash again and get yourself out or commit to a fight there. Or you could fall all the way down here to rafters, which is easily one of my favorite positions to play. That's what you were doing wrong on pistol round. Now, when we're talking about holding up in heaven, this is a completely different story, right? You want to be playing on the rafters, or you want to be playing in here, and you want to be coordinating with your teammate. Now, Phoenix playing up in heaven is very, very strong. If you hear just one set of footsteps, it's a pretty safe gamble to just take a flash and take a fight, right? But if you hear more than one pair of footsteps, you don't want to be doing that. You also don't, obviously, you obviously don't want to do this every single round. You want to switch up what you're playing and how aggressively you're playing. But I noticed you would not take any mid-aggression whatsoever. Mid-aggression is pretty crucial on this map, and you need to actually do it, whether it's ulting out occasionally or just flashing out occasionally. You need to be applying that mid pressure so they know that mid is not completely free. Because mid was free when you were holding it, because all you were doing, really, was just kind of holding up here and playing very safe and playing an angle like this, when in reality what you should be doing is switching up whether you're playing aggressive or whether you're playing passive. So those are like the big things that you need to keep in mind. You need to switch up your aggressiveness and like how passive you're actually playing when you're playing Phoenix. You can't always be a passive pushover bitch. Sometimes you gotta be the big dick slinger, you know? Sometimes it just has to happen. But just make sure you're not being super obvious about it, okay? So make sure you are applying the mid pressure and make sure that you are not a complete pushover the entire game. You can be a pushover at certain points, and if you are going to play passive, the best way I have found to do it, personally, in my opinion, is to take a fight like this, peek out, and maybe take a fight, and then you can molly it off, you can hold this angle, and you can fall back here. A really good angle that I found out about a little bit ago is if you line yourself up on this box right here, you can see them and they almost never expect you to be playing this angle, and you can get a pretty free kill, and then you can fall off this box, hold down here, hold rafters, or fall back to CT or to site, depending on what you want to do. So there's a lot you can work with in rafters. Rafters is very overlooked as a position, and it's a very good position that you can actually utilize when you're playing the game. So if you're pissed around, you're creeping up, you're going to flash through, you're going to actually take heaven control. Your teammates aren't really with you, you're going to wait for them. That's very good, very smart. So at this point, if you're going to commit, you need to commit, and it looks like you're doing that right now. So you're going to take down the raise, very good, and a huge Molotov coming in. It's going to block him off from peeking, and this is really well played from you so far. You need to just break that turret, bro. But you're going to keep staying in heaven, which is perfectly fine, especially since you have a frenzy. You're going to rush through. You're going to trade fights with this Phoenix, and right there was a huge mistake and kind of pointless. It's a little bit goofy of you to do this because you have 13 bullets, you don't know where they're at, and you know there's 2 alive. So, I mean, obviously you were just thinking it was going to be only the Phoenix, but you ran through guns blazing like it was your fucking house, right? It's not your house. You're the attacker. So just be very careful with this fight because you don't know where he's at. You know he's somewhere behind the smoke, but you really don't have enough intel to just start spraying wildly and trying to secure a kill through there. Because at this point, you have 2 bullets left when you actually swing the corner, and you are 100% dead here. There is no way you win this fight. So right here, you're creeping up. Now, this is not the best idea because you're alone. You need to be waiting for your omen here. And you need to make sure you're clearing that right side. This is one of the big problems I notice is people will just kind of clear this alone and they won't check that box, which people always play at. People always play outside of the smoke. You can't just flash through and expect nobody to be on rope side or behind the box right here. You got to make sure you're clearing that, and that's why going mid alone is extremely dangerous because there's no trade potential for one. And I don't know why in the first place you're going mid alone. I don't know why the Omen didn't come and support you here. So that can be chalked up to the fault of your teammate, but that's also your fault for not calming that you needed him there with you. Because you get shot in the back here and die. So you needed your Omen with you, and you need to make sure you're clearing this angle. This is a very, very crucial angle for you to clear. You can molly this box and then hold ropes, or you can molly ropes. So one way I would have done this personally is if I'm in this smoke right here and this is smoked off, I will molly off ropes so they can't push through, and then I'm going to flash out, clear right, and then move on to left. So you throw the molly and ropes there. Turn away from the flash, very good. You're going to decide not to flash there, which is fine. You're going to flash into the smoke, you're going to clear it. One is in there currently. It looks like you're going to try and just hold on to it for now. I wouldn't push down there. The fuck was that? What is that Omen doing, man? That was goofy as hell. It's a good flash. Yeah, your team needs to just go in. So now it's a 4-4. You guys are pushing through. You're going to fake the ropes and hold. You're out of utility, so this is kind of an okay play, but you should be there to help your team. Holding on to ropes is smart, but in a 4v4, I wouldn't say it's the best, most optimal play you can make, as your team just took 4 different gunfights and lost all of them. So it would have been nice to have you there to actually support them. So you guys get control, and it's still a 5v5 somehow. And you have your ult here. Your ult would be very crucial if you could take screens control and try and get a kill with it. Because you guys are all stacked up on site. You need to create that space. So ulting there was kind of a bad decision in my opinion. And you just froze. That is tough. That is really tough. So yeah, no, with that ult, I would definitely recommend taking screens control and just creating that space so your team can actually get to screens. Maybe what you could have done is thrown a wall right here on A site, and you could have crossed off this area so they can't see you. Then you could have taken screens control with the teammate, and you could have held on to that. That way you can get some of the players off site so you guys aren't getting pinched. Super hard. Just one way you could have went about it. I'm not saying it's the best way, but it's certainly better than just doing a little bit of chip damage with your ult that could potentially get you a kill, because you had a stinger and you took a long range fight. Probably not the best idea there, right? You like to lurk a lot as Phoenix, which I don't really recommend. Yeah, you need to be getting there to help your team. You realize that though, so you're heading over there. It's a huge kill there. You should flash here. And you have a molly as well. So mollying out box is what you should be doing right now. That way your teammate can actually fight him. And look at that. You pull out the molly. Lands. And you're ready to capitalize. One thing you need to do is make sure you're ready to capitalize. Because I've noticed like 3 times, I think, this game, you throw in the molly and you just aren't there to capitalize. So make sure you're ready to capitalize when you throw the Molotov. Another thing is you shouldn't be lurking when you have a full set of utility, when you are kind of the main entry for the team. You could argue that Rain is the main entry, but Phoenix should be there as well, because Phoenix has better pop flashes that can help the team out. In my opinion, a little bit better than Reyna's. So for this play right here, I definitely would have flashed. Yeah, you don't want to choreograph yourself coming through here, but if you flash out of heaven, almost everyone on site is blind unless someone's hiding behind main boxes, right? So flashing here would have been the play, and just trying to secure 1 kill and then falling back through the smoke, as opposed to kind of like full committing and trying to take fights. So you guys got into sight very easily. They kind of gave it to you. I noticed they kind of give up A. But that's what you should be doing on this character, right? You should be making sure that you are entering and creating space, because you like to lurk a lot, and lurking on this character, it's kind of dog shit. So if you're gonna like actually lurk around, make sure either you have used all your utility and you've done your job for the round, or you're playing a different character in general. You didn't really have to take that peek there, but that's fine. It looks like you guys are gonna win this round either way. Maybe. Yeah, you guys won this. It's a huge shot from Cyborg Ninja. So, to really sum it up, you should focus a little bit more on your role as an entry fragger and less on like making the play. Because I noticed it seems like you go for plays a lot, which is respectable, but at the same time, you split yourself off from your team on numerous occasions and you lost the round because of it. Yes, you also won a couple rounds because you split yourself off and you were able to make the play. But generally, you want to be there with your team to actually support them, and you also want to make sure and be aware of where your team is at, because I noticed a lot of the times you were pushing in alone, completely alone, and you were using your flashes and announcing your presence. If you're going to be alone somewhere, it's best to not alert the enemy team to your presence with flashbangs, right? So if you're going to be going alone, kind of do it as more of a lurking role instead of like an entry fragging role, which it seemed like you were doing. If you know somebody is there and you know you can kill them and secure a kill with the flash, then use the flashbang. But if you don't think there's anybody there and you have a reasonable enough suspicion that nobody's there or nobody's really looking at you, then you can keep on walking until you get to the point where you need to flash them. All in all, though, your aim's good, your game sense is good. It's just a couple of things that need to be ironed out where you're just not playing with your team and you're not aware of when the team is playing with you. I would also go back and look at what I said in the halftime switchover phase, because I did say the main problems you had as a player on CT. Your attack side, Phoenix, is very good. When you were actually going in and creating that space and entry fragging, you were winning rounds. But when you were cutting yourself off from the team, you were losing more rounds. So take that as you will. It's pretty much all I fucking want to say. I hope you guys actually got something out of this VOD review. I enjoy watching these. It's just sitting down and taking the time to do it. You know, look down here. 43 minutes, right? So I'm looking through this and then I got to go through and edit it all. So like, it's kind of a bitch, which is why one of the main reasons I don't do VOD reviews very much. So if you guys enjoyed, fucking like the goddamn video, share it with your family, your parents, your little sister. I don't give a shit, dude. Just share it around. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Put myself out there. If it's shit not good for your mouth care, that's just not fair. Making me a monster. Hold on, let me fall into the bliss, the oblivion. Right into the bike, and then when I'm gone, I do like